we learn many times in what we call PCI, but I want to actually bring to our attention again quickly. So let me adjust it, and then let's quickly go and do this. Okay, because it all what we call frame up together. All right. So what is the purpose of business? All right. We know this because we understand the purpose of business is actually profit. All right. Now, profit, as I say just now, is more on the cash flow side, so that we can use that to actually leverage Patungsan. That is the key. Okay, for exit plan. Right. But for a normal person, the whole idea about doing business is actually profit. So when we talk about profit, then we talk about, in economics, we must have what? Supply multiply demand. Okay. So when we talk about supply and demand, then what is supply? Supply, basically, we need to have a product. What is demand? Basically, we need what? Market. Okay. So basically, if that is the case, product must have a value, market must have a person who wants the value. So in order for us to actually make 1 million US dollar, for example, all right, if our product is 200 US dollar, we need how many people? 5,000 people. Okay, that is understandable. All of us know this already. So assuming that we have product 200 US dollar, and if we want lesser people, 2,500 people, we need to actually make 2,500 people come one more time. Still remember? And if it's $200 and we want 1,000 people, we just need what? 1,000 people come one more time, refer 3 more people. So we learn this, what we call the strategy in PCI, the C, the S, and the F. Remember? Okay. So then, if we are talking about 500 per product, right? We only need 2,000 people to buy from us. Now, if we want 500 product and lesser people, 1,000 people, is it possible? Possible. As the 1,000 people buy from us one more time. Now, if let's say the 500, all right, we want 500 people in a year. Is it possible? Possible. As the 500 people buy one more time in a year and refer 2 more people. So that is also a framework. Now, if we want, in actual fact, we make 2,000 per product, we only need 500 people. All right. So, but if we make 2,000 per product, can it be done with 100 people? It is possible. Make sure that these 100 people buy from us one more time in a year and refer us 3 people. This is where you will see the framework that we learn in PCI become more clearer. All right. So when you come to when I share this in Dive with Master Depth, you are not very clear. So you just learn this new thing. But when you come to PCI, you understand the C and the S and the F and the framework and the air, the ground and the sea and all that framework. Now, why do I want to mention this to you is because who is going to do the referral? Who is going to do the follow-up? Who is going to do the hunting sales, farming sales? So why I'm saying all this to you is that the PCI material and also the 10X material is the KPI standard. I say again, you cannot use what we call you cannot use a you cannot use a what we call generic KPI. Means to say you copy from somebody else. It needs to come from you. Means to say you need to understand what is your company operation, and what is the important core element for you to ask them to come one more time? What are the action that you ask them to come one more time? I say specific action that you ask them to come one more time. What are the action that you ask them for referral? All these items will be marked into KPI. Do you understand? If you understand, type 222. Now we are going in more deeper. All right. What are the actions that need to be carried out for you to actually get this result? The client coming back one more time, the client refer people, the client buy more. So what are the things that you need to set a KPI for them to do in order for you to get the result? Are we clear? All right. So this is a framework that we must understand clearly. All right. So that this is just not another what we call repeating class. This is more dig deeper into the KPI. All right. So we need to actually my advice is you need to actually what we call collect back the what we call review back the materials that you read in you have done in PCI, and the materials that you have done in 10x for you to actually derive the KPI from. Okay, how many of you still have the PCI notes? All right, if you have, type 222. Okay, PCI notes with you, type 222. How many of you have the 10x notes with you, type 333? Okay, very good. If you have the PCI notes, all right, and if you go back after the PCI and still do all the framework and what to do and asking the staff to do and the marketing campaigns and whatnot, if you still have that, that becomes your company KPI. That becomes the mutual benefit. If you do this, I will give you this. Are we understanding? All right. Yeah. So if you have not come to 10x, then we need to actually, 10x have its own what we call key performance that need to be done. All right. So don't worry. Yeah, you will enjoy 10x as well. Some students say 10x is better than PCI. Well, it depends. It depends. So some people, but more students would prefer the PCI than the 10x. But it all depends because everybody's what we call journey in their business phases are different. So yeah, so but basically, what we call that is the main framework that I want to actually talk about. So basically, once you understand that, okay, so we need to actually then separate out. All right. Okay. Who do what? Who do what? Who do what? So the whole idea is less of you. Are we clear now? Yeah. So this is the reason why, I say foundation formula is very, very extremely important. That is the reason why. Yeah. So in order for us to actually what? Okay. Make profit. Okay. So means to say it's going to be like what? Product multiply market. This is the formula. Okay. And our job is what? Create a what? Magnet. Okay. So these two things must be very strong. The magnet means to say it must be very strong. Yeah. So the whole key is, if we talk about 1 being not good, 9 being very good, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. How would you rate your product? If you say my product is 7, but my market is 2, so means to say 7 multiplied 2 is 14. All right. And then 9 multiplied 9 is 81. All right. But if you say my product is actually 7, all right, because coming to PCI, I already raise it to 6. So it means to say 7 multiplied 6 is 42. 9 multiplied 9 is 81. So obviously your company have grown. All right. So that is what we call understanding the framework. But again, who is strategizing this? All right. And if they strategize, what is in for them? Can you see it? So now I hope that, every number, every picture that you see is more zoom in. Who is doing it? Do you understand what I'm saying now? So I hope that the way how you see this is in a different angle now, right? I know, you know, you need to actually ask them to come and buy more in a year, but who is doing it? If that person is doing it, and if that person actually follow through the system that you set, what is their benefit? Just salary? Or you give them incentive? Or you give them bonus? Or you give them recognition? Right? There are many things you can give. It depends. Yeah. So that is where the KPI comes in. Right? Now, the people who actually hunt for sales and people who actually farm for sales, are they rewarded the same? It's different. So people who actually hunt in the air, hunt on the ground, and hunt on the sea, are the reward the same? So these are the things that we need to actually think about. Are the reward the same? How do we actually establish mutual benefit now? So every person is also different. Some people are into money. Some people are into recognition. Some people are into work-life balance. Some people are working into continuously growing in their journey on working. They prefer to grow. They prefer to learn. Some people just want what we call a framework for them to work. They don't want to understand a lot of things. They are just traditionally wanting to finish the job. That's it. So what we call there are too many moving parts. So, but we need to understand that difference. All right. How many of you feel that you know um, PCI, KPI, PCI, 10x, DNA gives you a fuller picture of how to look at human and talk about mutual benefit. How many of you feel that, wow, this is very interesting now? The depth of thinking, thought process is much more type 999. Yeah. So I also want to actually know how you all feel about this. Okay. So if you now can understand the depth of business, that is much easier for you to prompt AI. Would you agree? If you agree, type 888. Yeah. So because once you understand the depth of the whole business logic, the prompting become very easy, and to find the answer become very easy. Okay. Then the what we call the connection between PMTS become very clear. Would you agree? If you agree, type 888. Right. So now, but how do we actually zoom in? That is the key. Yeah, I understand, but how do we zoom in and make it into a framework? Okay, so now we must understand framework. Okay, so how do we actually attack case by case? Because KPI, it's very wide. There are too many things to measure. But how do we actually measure it case by case? So now that is the case. Then let me introduce you this to let you understand. Okay, so we call this, those of you who come to PCI, you already know this thing called business chassis. Okay, so what do you mean by business chassis? So we need to understand the business chassis, how it comes about. All right. So if you still remember, it talk about profit equals to what we call product multiply market. So we understand that. There's no problem. But how to actually be less of us is basically now we want to multiply. Therefore, that is where the team come in. Correct? So when the team come in, that become three things already. Okay, where you are the owner, You create the product and you want the sales to actually go and do the sales, and you actually want to sell it to the owner. So that becomes a mutual benefit thing. So in order for us to understand the mutual benefit, then we must put into a system so that it can be less of you continuous growth. So that's the formula. So now when we want to actually have profit, therefore the system, the framework is product multiply market. The foundation of this scaling part is actually human. Would you agree? Because you have only 8 hours, so little. All right. So in order for us to actually have high profit, we repeat what is the success of a process. Therefore, we multiply the human and we uh, attach a system to it. All right. Therefore, is a product multiply market. So basically, that is the whole formula. And in order for us to understand and multiply this, the human must be educated so that the human can, what we call, continuously grow. Okay. So we all understand this. Okay. But if you look at this, the whole idea is product, the market is existed. Okay. If you get a good product and you understand the market, there's no problem with it, right? Immediately the profit will come in. But the key is what? The people. Would you agree? The human is the problem. In order for us to actually unify human, therefore, mutual benefit must come in. All right. So now, in order for us to understand human in more in depth, then we need to understand this human anatomy. Okay. So what do you mean by that? Okay. So we must understand that in company, just like human being, we have hand, we have leg, we have head. All right. In a company, you don't call it hand and leg and body and ears and eyes. You don't call it like that. In a company, you call it a department. Okay. In any company, you call it a department. Therefore, you have the what we call the strategy department and the tactical department. Okay, the human are grouped in departments. Are we clear? So the humans are grouped in a department whereby we are talking about strategic. We have marketing department. The doer to execute is the sales department. Then we have the management department. Then we have the operation department or the admin department. Okay. And then we also have the finance department. We have the accounting department. We have the human resource department. We have the customer service department. And we also have what we call the R&D department. And we also have what we call the production department. Okay. All these are the same thing. Human, 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 and human. So all these are human in a department. So the department itself, a company, is the head, the leg, and stuff like that. So in order for us to understand this, then we need to understand which one is the profit making department and which one is the cost department. So in order for us to understand this, okay, I make it much easier for us to understand. Okay, imagine this is like an animal body. This is a body. Okay, so for a company, so this is actually the mouth. This is actually the eyes. All right, this is the leg. This is the leg. All right, and then this is the tail. Okay, does it look like an animal to you now? So basically, this is where the money in. So it goes into the mouth of the bird. All right. Okay. How many of you now look at it? It's like an animal to you now. Okay. Type two, two, two. Okay. So, so basically, the money goes into the sales. The sales is the person who is actually making the money. So, who are the human doing the sales? Are you doing it, or are the people? Other people are doing it. All right. Who is the strategic person, the eyes of guiding the company? All right. So it means to say the eyes is actually the one who will see danger, who will see risk, who will see opportunity, who will see many, many things that is good or bad for the company. The eyes is actually the marketing. Okay. So that is the direction of how the whole body should be going. All right. Where it should be heading to. All right. Then we have the management, the admin, the finance, the account, the HR. So which one is the part that makes money? All right. So you need to identify, because different industry, the part that make money is different. All right. The most money is different. But in a way, sales is the one that can make money. Correct. All right. Customer service also can make money. Correct. Finance, out from the money that you make, they can invest back. So basically, these are the three that can make money, right, in the company. Okay. The remainder are cost, framework, weightage to the company. Cost weightage means to say, for example, marketing. Okay. So if sales is making money, finance is making money, customer service is making money. Okay. So sales is hunter, customer service is farmer, finance is where we are talking about the extra money that you make. All right. So this is where you invest back. So these are the three departments then that makes money. Are we clear? Okay. The remainder: marketing, management, operation, accounting, HR, production, R&D. These are the company that every month you have a fixed cost. All right. So that fixed cost would be weightage, means to say you need to actually come up with percentage of what we call the total profit. You need to actually make it as a cost. All right. So this is where the realization comes in. So when you talk about mutual benefit, so now then you need to understand who is in the company that can make money in this. All right. So these are the what we call the finance. You might say, hey, finance make money, man. Yeah, finance make money. Why? Because finance can take the extra money that you have and earn interest. Finance can also get bank loan to buy patungsan, and finance can actually arrange the patungsan. All right. So basically, sales, finance, customer service is the key driver on how to actually make money from the company. Are we clear? Okay. How many of you learn something new? Type 333. Okay. If you learn something new, type 333. It's not only the sales department. We need to understand that framework. All right. So this is where we need to understand that, if we want to make the company successful, the mutual benefit, who should we take care more? Are we clear? Who shall we take care more? Right? Sales, finance, and customer service. These are the three that we should take care more. Are we clear? If you are clear, type 333. Because without these three, the remainder, no use. Why? Because the remainder are all costs. Are we clear? Now, the thing is like this. We, as a boss, then we take care of what? Okay, you take care of marketing and R&D. Are we clear now? So it means to say, you take care of marketing, you take care of R&D. Okay, marketing is M, R&D is P. P multiply M equals to profit. Okay. Why do marketing don't work money? Okay. Okay. Marketing can make money, but it's more on the cost side. The cost side. All right. So later on, I'll talk about now. A lot of people say, what about internet marketing? Internet marketing is also marketing, but basically it's also sales. It's not marketing. Marketing is basically the strategy. Strategy. All right. The strategy. Okay. Marketing department, it depends. Okay. So it depends on how. Okay. I give you a example. That's a very good question. Okay. Okay, probably the reason why is because you don't come in. I mean, I don't know whether you have come into the which I will cover it later, where you need to come into the 10x where you have blitz. Okay, how many of you remember blitz? Type blitz. Okay, blitz, blitz. How you remember blitz? All right, type blitz. There are 9 blitz. There are 9 sales blitz. Okay, I don't consider that's marketing, because that's marketing is basically strategy. All right. So there are 9 sales blitz. We will talk about that. But if you want to actually put marketing as a profit center, it's your choice. There's nothing right, nothing wrong. It all depends on thought process. Okay, it's all about thought process. Okay, so but basically, if we have what we call the marketing and the R&D covered by the boss, all right, which you know you are the person who is going to dictate where is the direction of the company. You are the person who is going to dictate what to be sell, what not to be sell on the product. So now then this become the cost, the cost, the cost, and the cost, and the cost. Okay. So now my question, okay, and I want to challenge, okay, which just now Giang Huang actually asked. My question I want to ask, is it possible that we can make marketing, management, operation, accounting, HR, and production, and turn that into money? Is it possible? That is the thing that I want to challenge us within these 2 days. Is it possible for this to make them into, turn them into money making? So if these people make money from us, what is their benefit? Can we make the department into something? For example, partnership with something, creating a profit center out of there. Different industry works in different way. I want to challenge the idea. All right. So how many of you get what I'm trying to say here? If you kind of understand, type 77, because I will explain to you more on this. But basically, I just want you all to understand that framework first. The very easy, direct way is sales, finance, and customer service. These are the 3 that is very easy to identify as a profit center. Okay. Now, a lot of things is like, this is cost, 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 this is cost. But can you make it into profit center? That is the key that I want to challenge. So that if all this become a profit center, means to say their salary is free. Are we clear? Means to say if you can turn that into profit center, means to say the salary is free. Means to say they can generate their salary themselves. Means to say you as a business owner will have lesser load. Okay, you cannot say, oh, you are in management, you need to do sales. You are in accounting, you need to do sales. You are in HR, you need to do sales. But what if they can do sales? How would you benefit them? Do you understand what I'm trying to say? If you are trying to understand what I'm trying to say, it's type 666. Can you set a KPI for them to do it? Is it possible? Will it be conflicting? With it, how to actually make it less friction for them to do sales? How to make less friction for them to actually contribute money into the team? How can you do that? So this is where my challenge to you in your thinking thought process. I want you to understand this framework. Are we clear? All right. So how do you actually make it into the framework? right? And mutually benefit for everybody. So means to say, is there a possibility? But don't abuse them. Don't try to abuse them and say, okay, uh, Monday to Friday you work like this, Saturday and Sunday you do sales or not, I don't pay you. No, it's not abusing them. It's about being tactical, it's about being strategic and what we call um, uh, uh, being strategic and crafting the message in a way that is not offensive to them, and they are very willingly to cooperate with you. It's not manipulating them. It is not about that. It's about you thinking processes how to make this cost center become profit center. Are we understanding each other? Type 222 if you understand. So it's more on constantly windfall. You still remember windfall in PCI? How can we make the cost into profit? How can we do that? Is there a possibility or not? That is what I'm trying to challenge all of us here. Okay, now, let me ask you this question. Is it possible, based on the concept that I tell you, you can ask AI to provide you the answer? Is it possible? If it's possible, type 111. Let me ask you this question. Is it possible that AI can give you some ideas on doing that? If possible, type 111. But the thing is, you must teach the AI so that the AI know your company very well. So your company very, very well. Now, using the AI, when you teach the company very, very well, the AI very, very well about your company operation and all not, and make it into what we call a Bible on operation, your operating company, your business model, then the AI will give you a lot of suggestion. Then once you have that suggestion, is it possible that you can ask the AI to craft the message to that particular department or particular person for mutual benefit in a very, very nice and tactful, smart way? Is it possible? Type 333. So what I want you to challenge is think about this, because I will bring back this topic tomorrow. Okay, I mean today and tomorrow. I will bring back this topic. So I want to hold on to this idea. I want to make it very, very clear. I mean, highlight to you this, because I will challenge your mindset on how to actually make a cost center into a profit center. All right, directly or indirectly. Are we clear? Okay, directly or indirectly. Okay, so that is something that I want to bring to your attention as well. Okay, so not only that, okay, then a lot of people say, teacher, when I do KPI, okay, a lot of people say I keep on changing my reward system. All right, I keep on changing it. I keep on what we call improvising it, and they don't like. Okay, how many of you feel that sometimes you just need to change, but you don't know how to tell the employee, you don't know how to share with the employee. How many of you feel like that? Because once you set the KPI, can you change the KPI? Okay, once you set the KPI, is it possible for you to innovate the KPI? So how many of you are having this problem? You already set a KPI, but you don't know how to change. You have problem changing the KPI. How many of you have this kind of problem? Type 333 if you have this kind of problem. You already set KPI, but you don't know how to change the KPI. Okay. So if you have that problem, type 333. Okay. So now, thank you. Now, for those of you who are typing and answering, I'm very grateful and thankful that you are letting me understand that you are listening and you are what we call getting what I'm trying to say. Those of you who are listening also, it will be very helpful for me if you can comment in the box so that I can understand what you understand or you don't understand. That would be very helpful for me, because um, 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 Zoom is very good for me, I feel, because when a person share, I can do my work immediately on the computer. All right. And when I quiet down myself, means to say I can really prompt AI on doing that. If I'm in a classroom setting, I probably am distracted with a lot of things in my area. So because I don't have a lot of time, when I have time, then I want to be very, very focused. Zoom is in a good way in that way, but Zoom is also not good way in because of the interaction. We cannot interact much, so it would be good if we can actually type into the chat box how you feel, how what you think, and replying. That would make it more interesting for all of us. Yeah. Yeah, so Zoom, there's good and no good. Physical class, there's good, also no good. So likewise, we try to make whatever the situation is more what you call beneficial to us, because at the end of the day, what we want to solve our problem, our challenges, and we want to actually make more money, more profit. All right, so that everybody is happy. So that is the key. Okay, now coming back, thank you very much for understanding. Okay, thank you very much for replying in the comment box as well. Now, speaking about this, we must also understand this framework. Okay, so those of you who come to class, you already know this, but I share it in a different way, because you still remember this thing called life cycle. Remember this? CYCLE, life cycle. Okay, you still remember life cycle? So if you remember life cycle, all right, I don't want to actually go into very in depth, but I just want you to remind you in life cycle is that, when we start P multiply M, our growth trajectory is like this, and then slowly it will fall. Remember? And then if we want to actually grow more, you need to actually bring up the P and the M, and then it will also fall. And then you need to actually bring up the P and the M again, it will grow up like that, and then it will also fall. And then you actually need to grow out the P and the M, it will also grow up like that. Still remember? So that is called life cycle. And then if you still remember that, in order for us to actually grow, this is where you start by what? If you still remember, you start yourself. Okay. All right. So you want to go fast, you go alone. If you want to go far, you go with a team. Therefore, you plus strong. Now, I don't want to actually explain why strong, because in the class I already explained why strong. All right. Then the next phase is you plus strong plus weak. And then at the end, you plus team plus partner. This is where you really expand. Okay, still remember that? Okay, so having said that, okay, can the KPI change? Okay, yes, of course. The reason why is because every spring, summer, autumn, and winter, you reward differently. Why? Because if you don't do that, what will happen to your profit? It will go very, very bad. So, in order for you to understand that, what I'm trying to say is when you design your reward, okay, listen carefully what I say, okay, based on the what we call KPI design, you need to remember to design in a very flexible manner, because your company will not be always in a spring season. Do you understand now? So when you change your reward system, okay, if you are in, you see, a lot of people when they are in spring or summer, they give a lot of money out. I say again, when they are in the spring or summer, they give a lot of money out. Why? Because they are in good. But when you give, do you know that you cannot take back? So when you promise something, you cannot take back. And then when you are in autumn or you are in winter, you cannot take back. And what happened? Because you give too much. This is a typical problem with a lot of business owner, including myself. When I make a lot of money, I reward a lot. So, but when I don't make a lot of money, then I started to actually tweak down, and people don't like it. So, means to say, when you want to give what we call when you want to design reward system, the KPI, you must understand that business will go through spring, summer, autumn, and winter. Okay, how many of you feel that this is very valuable and there is a word of wisdom? Type 999. You cannot treat business every time is spring. You cannot do that. Or you cannot you cannot treat business every time is summer, where you reward the strong very heavy because they achieve something with you. This is the problem that I face. I make a lot of money, I reward them a lot. Problem is, when times are not so good, they expect different things. They expect different already. Their expectation is different already. How many of you understand and you've gone through the situation yourself as well? Type 888. So those of you who actually want to actually design a KPI, you really need to take into consideration of the life cycle. You do not want to overpay, nor you want to underpay, but you need to understand the life cycle. So it means to say, when you design the KPI, you need to tell the people who are getting the KPI the word of wisdom. Okay, means to say, yes, the company might make a lot of money today, but if I pay you a lot and the company don't have cash flow to survive, we will die anyway. So you need to actually let these things, what we call your people, understand this framework. Or not, you will be the one who is at the losing end. Because during good times, you can reward a lot, but during bad times, that will hit you. All right. So this is what we call the when you design the framework, you need to actually take into this consideration. Are we clear? So basically, if we look at this frame, this whole what we call um, story, all right, it all boils down to what? It all boils down to human. Okay. Human is not an easy way to do, but in order for you to scale, you need to understand human. Okay, so that is the framework. So once you understand that, then what's next? Okay, so that is where we need to actually go into the human part on this already. Okay, so when we talk about human, then we need to go in more in depth. Okay, about human now. Okay, so how do we actually what we call make sense out of this? Okay, so this is where I come in and share with you all on what we call the human casino. Okay, so this is where what we call the human equals to casino. Okay, so I want to bring to your attention, some of you might heard about this, some of you might not, but it gives you the whole KPI framework, which I want to actually bring it very clearly to you guys first, so that you understand. Okay, so basically we are talking about let's say, all right, you suddenly make an additional 15,000 free money. Okay, 15,000 free money. Normally, owner will have two choice. Number one, the owner will buy a Rolex or a car or go for a holiday. Or the owner can buy what? Do this. Now, the story will be different now. Mutual benefit. Okay. So it depends on whether you want to buy a Rolex or you want to create more human. Okay. So what do you mean by that? Guys, girls, remember this. Whenever we make money, try not to spend on ourselves first. Okay. Try to build human, to build the engine first. In order for us to actually build human, to build the engine, you must understand this concept called mutual benefit. How do you actually create that? Okay, which we'll talk more inside. Okay, so basically, you still remember that the way how we make money is actually the we need to actually you still remember the animal where the mouth is. The key is actually the sales. So I always tell people, the first thing when you make money in company, you must bet on sales. That is the key. Okay. So you must bet on sales. So why? Because only that you can be less of you. Why? Because you will use your 8 hours to control their 8 hours. All right. So this is the key. Okay. So when you make money, do not do sales yourself. I say again, do not do sales yourself. When you make money, the first thing you hire is sales. Okay. Remember that always. Do not do the sales yourself. I say again, do not do the sales yourself. Okay. If possible, type it here. Don't do sales yourself. Please type it inside the comment box. When you make money, do not mix the sales. Hire salespeople. Remember that always. All right. When you make money, you need to actually bet. You need to bet. But what if you bet and you lose everything? It's okay. Because our objective is to try and error to build a less of you continuous growth company. Because if you don't do that, the company is not worth doing. You will only get yourself more busier with more stuff, with more stress. Would you agree? If you agree, type 222. Now, you say, but teacher, I cannot entrust this to my sales. I cannot, they are not as good as me. How many of you also feel like that? Type 333. Now, yes, it is true. But the problem is, if you are doing the sales, there are no scalability. If you are not doing scalability, then the business will rely on you. The more bigger the business is, the more stressed you would become. Don't forget that, please. But you say, teacher, my company cannot hire sales. Sales doesn't work. Listen carefully what I said. You have only 8 hours. If you don't build sales, the mouth is only your mouth feeding, and the whole body eat on your mouth. So your mouth need to munch 24 hours. So you need other people to actually munch for you as well. How many of you understand what I'm trying to say? Tatu. It is very, very crucial. No matter what you do, you must think about the first thing. If my P is good, my M is actually accepting my P, then the first thing when I build my T is sales, not auntie sweeping the floor, not accounts doing the accounts, not what we call driver. No, it's sales. Now, having said that, let's say for example, okay, I will bet since you say like that, so the key is, this area here, remember? When you make your first, and then you actually want to actually hire your strong, take the money that you have, in our case, 15,000 extra, and you build strong. Do you understand now? Okay, you build strong, because only through build strong, you can go to this and you can go to here. Without building a strong, you cannot continuous growth. Do you understand now? Hello? If you understand now, type 111. So why I mean like that is because then the KPI become very clear to you now. Because if you do not have a agreement with your sales, you will be the one who is doing the sales. So the mutual benefit between you and the sales is very, very extremely important. For your company to scale, get this KPI done first with your sales. That is the first important keyword. Okay, you can have KPI for your management, for your finance, for your what we call operation, all that. But I can tell you, during these 2 days, the first thing you do, if even you don't do other KPI, you must do KPI for sales. Okay, because the sales is the key to bring food into your table. If you don't have food in your table, don't try to put KPI for production, for other things. You must try to actually do sales. Okay, now, but you might say, teacher, I'm doing restaurant. I don't have salespeople. No, you're wrong. If you come to 10x, your salespeople is the online people who do the online content for you to bring the people into your door. That is your sales blitz, the online blitz. We have 9 type of blitz, remember? Okay, you can do roadshow. There's also a blitz. Okay, you can do PR. Working with people for catering to bring people inside. So that is your sales as well. Remember? Okay, so this is a lot of people say, but my product is a restaurant. Okay, restaurant also can do sales, or not? You just open the store and wait there? Cannot. Air, ground, and sea, which I will share with you all later. But the key is sales. Right? So different in that. But teacher, I'm a accountant. Right? How do I do sales? Well, you can have PR, public relation people to do sales for you as well. You can hire. There's 9 type of configuration which I will share with you. So, but what I'm trying to impress upon all of us and stress upon all of us is, first KPI that you do must be on your sales first. How many of you agree what I said? Type 555. Or how many of you have new realization? You start thinking already. Type 555, please. So that is the key. So now, if you say, okay, I'll do sales, then I will pay 1,000 here, 1,000 here, and 1,000 here, which is very high, to do sales. Now this exclude commission. Okay, this is exclude. We are talking about basic. Okay, basic. Okay, so now let's say what we call 1,000 is their salary. Okay, their salary. Okay. Now, so what you do, you can try for 3 months, correct? Because they can actually work for 3 months, see whether they're suitable or not, correct? So this one, you multiply 3, multiply 3, multiply 3. So what is your cost? Negative 3,000, negative 3,000, negative 3,000, correct? So it's all in all 9,000 US dollar, correct? Okay, so you have what? 15,000 US dollar. Still okay. It's bearable. No problem. Okay, so it's 3,000, 3,000, 3,000 each. Okay, so means to say it's negative 3,000. But what is the sales they bring in? Okay, so after minusing everything, all right, including their commission, everything, all right, after minusing everything, here this person makes 6,000 after 3 months. This person make 1,000 after 3 months. This person make 5,000 after 3 months. Okay, so let's see how much they make after 3 months. So this one make 3,000. This one lose money, and this one make 2,000 US dollar after minusing their commission and whatnot. Okay, so now having said that, okay, we will keep this. We will fire this after 3 months, and we will also keep this. And our job to tell them is that, hey, you already done this. Okay, means to say you prove yourself that you are worthy to join us as a team. How do we now then set mutual benefit so that, I say again, we set mutual benefit so that you will continue doing this for the rest of the year. Okay, so we have just finished 3 months. It's 1 quarter. Okay, 1 year have 4 quarters. 3 months, 3 months, 3 months, 3 months. Okay, so we just finished 1 quarter. Now we have 3 months, 3 quarters left. What we can do is that we can talk to them. Okay, this is the KPI. Okay, if you hit lesser than 3,000, you will not get this. If you continue on this 3,000 journey, okay, I will give you different KPI. Means to say you add on bonus, incentive, whatever, commission. This is where the KPI comes in. Understand so far? So for the first 3 months, you prove yourself. After that, KPI comes in. So now when KPI comes in, now what you tell, hey, person A, okay, what you do, maintain the 3,000 every month, every 3 months. So means to say, so for the next 3 months, 3 quarter, multiply 3
quý tới đúng không? Chúng ta sẽ nhân với 3
and
lên.
multiply 3. You
Này,
tell
nhân
the
3
same
lên.
thing to
Chúng
B
ta
as
cũng
well.
nói điều này cũng nói điều
Okay.
tương tự này với
So
cả
this is
cái nhân
where
sự B này.
you will make
Thế thì khi
extra.
này
Okay.
chúng ta sẽ kiếm được thêm.
This is 9,000.
Người này là kiếm được
This
9.000
is
này.
6,000.
Người này kiếm được 6.000 này.
All in all,
Thế thì tổng cộng
15,000.
anh chị có thêm 15.000.
Are we clear?
Nghe mình rõ chưa?
Subsequently,
thế thì sau đó cuối cùng
we will then next
chúng
year
ta
make even
năm
more.
tới chúng ta sẽ kiếm được
So
nhiều
this
hơn
is
nữa.
basically the
Thì về cơ
framework,
bản đây sẽ là
right,
cái khung
of how what we call this whole process is. All
để
right.
xây dựng
So
toàn bộ quá
having
trình
said
quy
that,
trình.
then how do we actually then
Thế thì làm thế
set
nào
a
để chúng ta có thể thực sự
KPI
thiết lập một
for
cái
this
KPI
amount and this amount?
cho con
So
số
that
tiền này,
becomes
cho
a
số tiền
very
bên này đúng
clear
không?
picture.
Thì chỗ này chúng
Okay,
ta
I
có
hope
bức tranh rõ
you
ràng
know
hơn rồi đúng
that
không? Tôi
you
hy vọng
can
rằng các
understand
anh chị
this
có thể hiểu được điều
framework.
này, hiểu được
Okay,
cái khung này.
now
Bây giờ
then you might say, but
các chị có
teacher,
thể nói
what
rằng là
if
nhưng mà giáo viên nếu
3 of these people also
ba người này
lost money?
đều cả ba người này
basically,
đều mất tiền, đều không mang lại doanh thu mà bị lỗ chẳng
that
hạn.
is the what we
Thế
call
thì lúc đó
what we call the
chúng
risk
ta
that you have to
sẽ
take, right?
gọi cái phần
So
đó là cái rủi
why?
ro mà chúng ta phải
Because you
chấp
need
nhận.
to understand
Tại
in
sao?
order
Bởi
for
vì chúng ta
you
cần phải
and
hiểu
for me to
để
actually
cho
go
các anh chị và tôi
this
có thể thực sự
and then
đi
grow
từ
to
đây
this
lên đến đây và
and
lên
then
đến
grow
đây
to this.
và chuyển đến đây.
The human must
Thì
have
nhân
mutual
sự cần phải có
benefit.
lợi ích chung.
So a lot of company cannot
Rất là
scale.
nhiều công ty
I say
không
again,
thể
a
nhân
lot of
rộng,
company
mở rộng
cannot
quy mô
scale
được
because
bởi
they
vì
don't have
họ
mutual
không
benefit
có
in
lợi ích
place.
chung, họ
Okay,
không áp dụng
I
lợi
say
ích
again.
chung.
Now, the easiest way for
cách
you
tốt, cách
to
dễ
prove,
nhất để
for
cho
me to prove
để
my
cho
point
tôi
is
điểm hay là quan điểm của
multi-level
mình,
marketing
đó là
company.
cái
Okay,
một cái
multi-level marketing
công
company,
ty
the first
marketing
thing
nhiều cấp
they
độ
do
multi level. Thế thì với
is
những công ty marketing như
KPI.
thế thì việc đầu tiên
What
họ làm
is
là gì
in
ạ?
for
Là
you
KPI
becoming
ạ.
my agent?
Khi mà làm
The
agent
second
cho
one
tôi
is
thì họ nhìn thấy
insurance
cái gì?
agency.
Và thứ
These are the
hai
two
đó là
companies
bên
where they
công ty bảo
scale the
hiểm ạ.
human very fast.
À,
Would you agree? How
khi
many
đó
of
thì
you
họ
agree?
có
Type
thể
one,
sử
one, one.
dụng những cái công ty này họ có thể nhân rộng rất là nhanh ạ. Mọi người có đồng ý không ạ?
So
Nếu mà
what
đồng ý
if
chúng
your
ta có
sales
một người
team
được
are
không ạ?
more experienced than you? So the
Nếu
target you
mà
set
đội
might not
sale của chúng ta
might
có
be
nhiều
too
kinh nghiệm
low,
hơn
and
mình
you can set
thì
a
mục
higher
tiêu
because
mình
you
đặt
can't do it
ra có thể
yourself.
là
This is better.
không
If
quan
you
tâm.
can
Vâng,
do
thậm
that,
chí như thế
that
còn
that would be fantastic. But
thế thì tốt
this
quá.
is the whole idea
Nhưng mà
that I
đây
want to
là
actually pass on to all of us. Okay. So, but what I'm trying to say is, have you ever thought about
các chị đã bao giờ
multi-level
nghĩ
marketing
tới
company?
các cái công ty multi level marketing, công
Have
ty
you ever thought
marketing
about
đa cấp chưa?
insurance
Nhiều cấp ạ?
company?
Hay là công ty
Why
bảo hiểm
can
chưa?
they grow so fast?
Tại sao họ lại có thể phát triển nhanh như thế
I
ạ?
say again,
Với những công ty
why
đa cấp như
can
thế
they
ạ? Tại
grow so
sao họ lại
fast?
có thể phát triển nhanh
It's
như thế ạ?
because they have
Bởi
a
vì
very good KPI
họ có
system.
họ có cái hệ thống
Okay,
KPI
how
rất
many
là
of
tốt ạ.
you never
Bao
thought
nhiêu
of
người
this,
trong các
and
chị
now
chưa
this
từng
is
nghĩ tới điểm
something
này, và
new,
bây
and
giờ
it
các chị học
gives
được
you
một cái điều
some
gì mới
light your
và
bulb on your idea. Type
giống như kiểu là
333.
nó vừa mới giúp
Okay.
cho chị biết một
Have
điều
you ever
mới
thought about
về
this?
công ty của mình, thì
All
chị
right.
gọi số 3
We
được
used to
không?
say
333. Hay là các chị
MLM
nào mà
company.
thấy rằng là
Okay.
đây, ví dụ như đây công ty của tôi,
Yeah, think about it. MLM company,
công ty
insurance
MLM,
company.
công ty bảo hiểm, công ty marketing đa cấp, công ty bảo hiểm.
Okay. What we call in Vietnam is not so much, but agency. Okay, estate agent,
Và ở
property
Việt Nam
agent
chúng ta
company.
còn có
Why
những
can the
cái
business grow so
agent
fast?
nữa.
Yeah.
Đặc biệt là agent
Yes,
của các công ty
KPI
bất động
system
sản, đúng
for
không? Thì nó
insurance
có
and
thể phát triển rất là
multi-level
nhanh,
is
đúng
so
không?
good. That's true.
Marketing đa cấp này, bảo hiểm này
So why
thì họ rất
are
là tốt, đúng
we
không?
as a
Thực tế là
traditional
như thế ạ.
business
Tại sao chúng
owner
ta với tư cách là những người
never
chủ sở hữu doanh nghiệp
learn
truyền
from
thống, chúng
them
ta không bao giờ học từ họ nhỉ?
on KPI side?
Học về cái mặt KPI
What
ấy.
are the good things that they have done that
Họ đã làm những
we
điểm tốt gì
can
về KPI mà chúng ta
model?
có thể
Okay,
học theo
now
mô hình của họ?
I give you another tips
Như tôi
on
sẽ cho các
this.
chị một lời khuyên nữa nhé.
Let me ask you this question.
Tôi sẽ có một
Okay,
câu hỏi.
if you understand this
Nếu
right
các
now,
chị hiểu
then
chỗ
my
này
question to
rồi
you is
thì
this:
câu hỏi của tôi dành cho các anh chị là như thế này.
can you ask
Các anh
GPT
chị có thể
to
yêu
actually
cầu
give you a
GPT,
multi-level
ChatGPT
plan
cho các anh chị
for
một
your
kế hoạch
business and do the calculation and the projection? Is it
marketing đa cấp
possible?
được không? Liệu có thể
Okay,
tiến
how
hành
many
không
of
để
you
lấy
have
cho
some
kế hoạch đó nó hiệu quả?
wow moment? Okay,
Có anh chị nào
type
đã cảm thấy wow
999.
từ nãy giờ rồi thì mình gọi 999 được
Type
không?
999. Okay. How many of you have some wow moment?
Có
Type
anh chị nào đã
999.
có những
Yeah.
cái giây phút vừa xong mình thấy wow
So
rồi,
the
là rất là hay rồi,
prompting
thì ta gọi
becomes
999
very
họ. Thế
important
thì
because
khi đó việc đặt câu rất là quan trọng,
the
bởi
idea
vì ý tưởng
is the value.
là giá trị. Chúng ta phải tập trung vào giá trị.
The doing is actually the AI now. Okay.
Bây giờ cái
So
mà chúng ta làm là chúng ta sẽ
have
sử
you
dụng
ever thought
AI.
about it?
Thế thì các chị đã
So
bao
it
giờ
means to
nghĩ
say
tới
you
điều
don't
này
need
chưa?
to think.
Ví dụ như là các chị
You
không cần phải suy nghĩ
just
nữa, đúng
need
không?
to actually
Các chị
copy
chỉ
ideas,
cần phải copy
successful
ý
ideas
tưởng,
from
những ý tưởng đã thành công
multi-level marketing
từ
company,
công
insurance
ty
company,
MLM, công ty marketing đa cấp hay là công ty bảo hiểm.
people where you can come up with a set of calculation
Chúng ta có thể
that
ra được một bộ tính toán
will have
và qua đó
easy
nó sẽ
what we call a way how you
giúp chúng
actually
ta tìm ra được một
set
cách
the KPI
để
system.
chúng ta có thể đặt
As I
hay là
say,
thiết lập được hệ
it's
thống
not
KPI
about
của mình. Như tôi đã nói thì
how good you are. It's about
không
how
phải là chúng
smart
ta
you
giỏi
ask
như
the
thế nào đâu,
question. Would you
mà
agree?
vấn đề ở
All
đây là
right.
chúng ta
If
đặt
you
câu hỏi thông minh như
agree
thế
with
nào,
me,
đúng không? Chúng ta có đồng ý không ạ? Nếu các chị đồng
type
ý
333.
thì gọi số
Come on,
333
guys.
không ạ?
I
Các chị
hope
ơi,
that this
tôi
is
hy
a
vọng
very good
rằng
idea.
đây là một ý tưởng rất là hay,
The idea or the what we call
ý
the
tưởng
light bulb. Okay.
hoặc là giống như
Okay.
là một
So how many
cái
of you
bóng đèn, một cái bóng
feel
đèn
that
sáng ấy, một
it's
cái
a
đèn sáng
damn
này.
good
Anh chị
idea?
nào nghĩ rằng đây là một ý tưởng rất là hay?
Okay. How many of you feel that
Ai nghĩ
is
rằng
a
đây là một ý
very
tưởng
good
rất là
idea?
hay?
Okay. If you feel that is very good
Nếu
idea,
mình
type
thấy đây là một
555.
ý tưởng rất là hay thì chúng ta
Yeah.
gọi 555 được không?
So the first thing that you need to
Điều
understand
đầu
is
tiên
that
mà các chị cần phải
you
hiểu
need to
là
actually
các
create
chị
this
phải
first in
tạo
order for
ra
you
cái
to
này
grow the
trước
people.
để các
If
anh
you
chị
don't
có
create
thể
this,
giúp tăng trưởng nhân sự. Nếu chúng ta không tạo ra cái này
you will have a
thì
problem with
các anh
cost
chị
in the
sẽ gặp
future
vấn đề về chi phí
to
trong tương lai.
expand. Do
Nếu
you
chúng ta đang
understand
muốn
this?
mở rộng doanh nghiệp,
A lot of
mình hiểu chỗ này
SME
không? Rất
don't
là nhiều doanh nghiệp
feel that they
SME
want to
không
give
thấy
up
rằng là
money.
họ cần
There's a
phải
reason why
chi tiền
SME
thêm.
cannot
Đó là lý do
grow
vì sao mà các doanh nghiệp
because they
SME
don't
không thể
want to
phát
give
triển
money.
được, bởi vì họ không muốn chi tiền ạ.
So, or they don't
Thì
know how to
hoặc là
plan
họ không biết cách
KPI.
lập kế hoạch cho
But
KPI.
because of AI
Nhưng mà
today, we can
vì là
leverage
chúng ta bây
on
giờ
this
chúng ta đã có AI
what
rồi
we
thì chúng ta
call
có thể tận dụng
technology
công
to
nghệ, chúng ta
benefit
tận dụng
us
công nghệ
and to
để mang lại lợi
benefit
cho
the
chúng ta,
company.
cũng như là mang
So,
lại lợi ích cho doanh
you
nghiệp.
know, so then it will be
Để qua
it
đó
is
các anh
it
chị,
used to be very difficult to do for company,
trước
but
đây thì công ty
today,
rất là khó có thể làm
once
được
you
điều đó đúng không?
understand
Nhưng mà
this,
ngày nay sau khi
it
các anh chị đã
is
hiểu được
not
điều này rồi
difficult at all
thì
anymore.
nó
Would
không
you
còn
agree?
khó chút nào nữa.
Okay.
Mình đồng
How
ý
many
không
of you feel that wow,
anh
you
chị nào
will
nghĩ rằng
now
là bây giờ
today or tomorrow or whatever,
hôm
you will
nay hoặc là
start
ngày
doing
mai
research on
các anh chị có
MLM
thể
in
bắt đầu
insurance
nghiên
company
cứu
or property
về
agency
các
company
công
or
ty
anything that
MLM hay
we
là công
group
ty bảo hiểm
with
hay
KPI.
là
How many of you will start
những công
doing
ty có
research
KPI
on
tốt.
that?
Có bao nhiêu người nghĩ rằng
Yeah,
là
type
mình sẽ bắt đầu
777.
nghiên cứu thì mình gõ số 777 được không ạ?
Yeah. So it's yeah, Trump. It's about
Vâng,
your traditional company
vấn
has
đề
a
là
loan,
công ty truyền thống của chúng ta
what we call
thì
restaurant,
ví dụ như là chúng ta có mở nhà hàng này
a face beauty salon,
hay là các cái
massage,
salon làm đẹp
all that
này, sẽ là chăm
can
sóc
be
da mặt
done
vân
in a
vân,
way that
massage này, thì tất cả
you can
đều có
actually ask
thể
GPT to
chúng ta có
create
thể yêu cầu
the what
ChatGPT
we
tạo
call
ra
KPI, the payout,
một
the
cái
the commission system.
hệ
So
thống hoa
you
hồng
can
hay
do
là hệ thống
all that
KPI,
and get this thing
thì
right
qua
first.
đó chúng ta
Because
có thể
if you
làm được
don't get
điều
this
đó.
thing
Bởi
right,
vì nếu
your
mà chúng ta
company
có
cannot
KPI tốt
what?
thì công ty sẽ không thể nào
Your
không làm
company
được gì ạ?
cannot
Công ty sẽ không
scale.
thể mở
Your
rộng quy
company
mô,
cannot
công ty sẽ
scale. Your
không thể mở
company
rộng quy
cannot
mô,
scale.
sẽ
So
không thể
you
mở rộng
must
quy mô.
understand
Công
that
ty sẽ
framework.
phải hiểu
If you
khung này.
don't understand
Nếu
that framework,
không hiểu
it's
khung
very
này
difficult for your
thì
company
sẽ
to
rất là
scale.
khó để cho
So
công ty của chị
when
có
you
thể nhân rộng quy mô được.
design
Vậy thì khi các
anything,
anh chị thiết kế bất kỳ cái gì,
you design a product, it's
khi chúng
just
ta thiết
not
kế một
about
sản phẩm
selling alone.
thì nó không chỉ là vấn đề là về bán cái sản phẩm đó
When you
riêng lẻ.
design a product,
Khi chúng ta thiết
the
kế một sản phẩm
pricing
thì
that
cái
you
phần
need, you
xác
also
định
need to
chi phí,
actually
định giá
create
thì chúng ta cũng cần phải
commission scheme,
tạo ra một cái kế hoạch hay là một
salary
cái
scheme,
chương trình
commission scheme,
hoa hồng hay là
bonus
một cái
scheme,
kế hoạch lương thưởng,
incentive scheme,
ờ, kế hoạch
recognition
khen
scheme.
thưởng, kế
There
hoạch
are
ghi
nine
nhận.
of this, which we
Chúng
will
ta
go
có
through it
9 loại tất cả đúng không?
these 2 days. Okay,
Trong 2 ngày này
so
chúng ta sẽ tập trung vào tất cả 9 loại này.
those days when I teach KPI,
Và
the
khi chúng
student will
ta
be like,
ngày nay thì chúng tôi dạy về
shit,
KPI,
I
mọi
got
người
so
nói rằng
much
là
things to do
tôi
now.
có quá
Oh
nhiều
my
việc làm.
God, yeah, it is
Ôi trời
true,
ơi,
but
vâng đúng là như thế,
oh, so
nhưng
much
mà
thing. Okay, but
quá nhiều thứ phải làm
today
đúng
is
không? Nhưng
different.
mà
Today
ngày nay
is
thì đã khác rồi.
wow, that is a good
Bây giờ chúng ta thấy
idea.
là đây
I
là
will
ý
work on
tưởng rất
it
là hay,
on
tôi
my
sẽ làm cái
computer
đó
now. I will
với
ask
máy tính của
AI to
mình.
do.
Bây giờ
How many
tôi
of
sẽ yêu
you
cầu
feel
AI
that?
làm như thế. Bao nhiêu người trong số các anh chị cảm thấy như thế rồi?
That what I say is very very true.
Mọi người thấy là
Type
những ai mà thấy những cái điều mà
888.
tôi vừa chia sẻ rất là đúng thì chúng ta gõ
Previously,
tám
our
tám.
student who go to
Trước đây thì
KPI,
tôi đã
they
có các
say,
sinh viên
shit,
học
I
viên mà khi
understand
nói
this,
về
but I
KPI họ
don't
nói
know
rằng
how
là
to do it
tôi
because
hiểu
there's so
nhưng mà tôi không biết
much
cách
things to
làm,
do.
bởi vì
I'm
có
just a
quá nhiều thứ phải
one-man
làm.
show, or
Tôi
I
chỉ là
just
một
a
người
five-man
thôi,
show.
hay
I
là
know
chỉ có
this thing
5
need to
người
be
tất
done,
cả.
but
Bây
I
giờ tôi
don't
không
know
không
how
biết
to
là phải
do
làm
it.
cái đấy nhưng mà tôi không biết cách làm như thế nào.
But
Nhưng mà
once you understand this
khi mà các chị đã hiểu
foundation,
cái
that
nền tảng
that
bên này
gives
rồi
us the what we call
thì nó sẽ cho
the question to ask the AI. So
nó sẽ
once
cho chúng ta biết chính xác
you
câu hỏi
ask
phải
the
đặt ra đối với
AI
AI là cái
on
gì.
this
Sau khi chúng ta yêu
matter,
cầu AI
it becomes so easy. Would you
thì chúng ta
agree?
hỏi
All
AI thì
right.
nó sẽ rất là
Would you
dễ
agree?
đúng không? Chúng
Okay.
ta đồng ý
Now,
không?
having said that,
Bây giờ
all right. So now,
nói vậy thì
then
bây giờ
we need to actually understand this
chúng
now.
ta
Okay.
cần phải hiểu cái
So
này bây giờ.
okay. Okay. How many of you feel that wow,
Có bao nhiêu người
very
trong
good
số các anh
idea?
chị thấy rằng là
You
đây
are
là một ý
more
tưởng rất là
confident
hay
now on
và
setting
chúng ta
KPI.
tự tin
All
hơn
right.
về việc thiết lập
Type
KPI rồi thì
666.
gõ
I wouldn't
666 được
say
không?
confident. I would
Tôi
say you
không hẳn
find
là tự tin
a
mà tôi muốn nói
breakthrough
rằng là
on
nếu các anh chị cảm
ideas
thấy là chúng ta đã
how
tìm
to
ra một
actually
cái
do
ý
it.
tưởng
Okay.
mới
How many of
về
you
cách
feel like that?
làm,
If yes,
về cách xây dựng
then
KPI thì
type
chúng ta
666.
gõ
Okay.
666
So
được không?
now,
Bây giờ
then once you understand that,
và sau khi
okay.
các anh chị
Now,
đã hiểu
how do you find
thì làm thế
a
nào
line, a
để các anh chị
baseline?
tìm ra được
So
một
now we
cái
need to
đường
understand the
cơ sở
baseline
hả?
before
Chúng
we
ta cần
can
phải
plan
tìm được cái baseline,
on
cái đường cơ sở này.
KPI
Chúng
on
ta đã
how
có một
much to
kế
give.
hoạch
You
về
must
xây
have
dựng
a
KPI rồi đúng
baseline.
không? Chúng ta cần phải có một
So
cái đường cơ sở,
what
một
is the
baseline. Thế
baseline?
thì
So
cái đường cơ
that
sở
is
là như thế
a
nào?
very what we call
Đây sẽ là
not
một
easy to
cái
answer
phần
question.
không hay là một câu hỏi không dễ trả lời.
Okay, now this is the answer
Đây
what we
là
call
câu
the
trả
baseline
lời
so that
cho cái đường cơ sở, đường
understand the
baseline, để
framework.
cho các anh chị có
Okay.
thể hiểu về khung này hơn.
So let me
Thế
then
thì
draw
để
this, then you will
tôi
understand
sẽ
better.
vẽ để
Okay.
cho anh chị có thể hiểu dễ hơn nhé.
I hope you enjoy because
Hy vọng
you
là
know
anh chị cũng thích cái này, bởi vì khi
you
mà
know
tôi
I'm struggling with this,
cũng rất
but
là vất vả với
today
phần này.
with AI, because I
Và bây
spend so
giờ
much
thì
time
với
with
AI,
AI, I
tôi
just
cũng đã dành
feel
rất
that
nhiều thời gian với AI, và tôi
things are
thấy là
much easier
mọi
to do
thứ sẽ
nowadays,
dễ
to
dàng
do
hơn
planning
rất là nhiều
for
ngày
the
nay
business owner.
khi
All right.
chúng ta
So
lập kế hoạch
then what's next
trong vai
for the
trò là một
business
chủ
owner,
sở hữu doanh
which I
nghiệp.
will share with
Thế
you
thì
later on tomorrow
thế thì bước tiếp
on
theo
that
thì tôi sẽ
framework.
chia sẻ
But
với mọi người trong ngày
today I
mai,
just want you
nhưng mà
all
hôm nay
to
thì tôi
understand
chỉ
that
muốn các anh chị hiểu
the power of AI
về
that
cái
you
sức
have
mạnh,
on
quyền
hand
năng của
right now is
AI
so
mà các anh chị
valuable.
đang có trong tay,
So
nó rất
now
là
let's
giá
talk
trị.
about this now.
Vậy thì bây giờ chúng ta sẽ nói về
Now
cái này
let's
nhé.
talk about.
Chúng ta sẽ nói
Okay,
về
let me do this. Let's talk about the KPI foundation now.
nền tảng của KPI.
This is very, very important.
Cái này
Okay.
rất là quan trọng.
So I want to end with this today.
Tôi
Okay,
muốn
the
kết thúc
KPI
với nội
foundation.
dung
That
này
is
trong buổi sáng
very,
hôm
very
nay.
extremely important. Okay.
Nội dung này
So
vô
how
cùng
do you
vô cùng cực kỳ
actually
quan
have a
trọng.
baseline?
Vậy thì
So
làm thế
that
nào
is
để
the
chúng ta
key.
sẽ có một cái
So
baseline ở đây?
now,
Đấy là điểm
to
chính này.
understand this,
Để có thể hiểu được.
10 minus
Đây chúng ta có 10 này, trừ
$8
$8
equals to
bằng
$2.
$2.
Okay, let me write it properly. Okay. So this is what we call
đây
a framework. Okay.
là cái mà chúng ta
And
gọi là
in
khung,
this,
và
we
trong khung
call
này
this
chúng ta gọi cái
your
này
forecast
là cái dự báo, forecast,
profit.
lợi nhuận dự báo hay lợi nhuận lợi nhuận ước tính.
Okay. Or we can call it a budget.
Hoặc chúng ta gọi nó là phần ngân sách.
Okay. This is what we call the budget forecast profit.
Hoặc
Are we
chúng ta có
clear?
thể gọi nó là lợi
Okay.
nhuận
So
ước
basically,
tính hay là ngân
what
sách
is a
ước tính.
budget
Vậy
forecast
thì
profit?
về cơ bản thì
Okay.
cái này là gì ạ?
Okay. A lot of people
Rất là nhiều
cannot
người
come up with a
không
KPI
thể
system
xây
is
dựng được một hệ thống
because
KPI
they
bởi
don't have
vì
this
họ
forecast
không
profit.
có
I say again.
xây dựng được cái lợi nhuận
Forecast
ước tính,
profit is
lợi
the
nhuận dự
key
tính. Vậy thì lợi nhuận ước
to
tính
set
là
KPI.
chìa khóa để chúng ta có
Okay.
thể
I want all of us
xây dựng
here to
KPI.
write this
Tôi
thing
muốn tất
down
cả các anh chị
in the
sẽ
comment
viết
box.
cái này xuống
Type
trong ô cỏ,
forecast
trong phần
profit.
chat box ạ. Forecast
Okay.
profit,
So
lợi nhuận ước
we
tính
need
là
to
lợi nhuận
actually
dự
create
báo.
a
Vậy thì chúng ta
forecast
cần phải tạo
profit
ra được một cái
in
lợi
order for
nhuận
us
dự báo,
to
lợi
actually
nhuận ước tính
build
để cho
a
chúng ta
KPI.
có thể xây dựng được
Okay.
một KPI.
What do I mean by that?
Thế
Okay.
thì điều đó có
So
nghĩa là gì ạ?
now,
Bây giờ
in this system, we need to
trong hệ
actually
thống này
understand
chúng ta cần phải hiểu
if
nếu
your company,
công
our
ty
company, we
công ty của các anh chị, công
increase
ty của
to $11
tôi tăng cái này lên
minus of
$11 này,
$7
trừ đi $7
equals
này,
to
bằng
$4.
$4,
Okay. Then
thì
I will
tôi
reward you.
sẽ khen thưởng, trả thưởng cho bạn.
Okay. Very good. Me. Thank you for writing.
Vâng.
If
Nếu
company
công
is
ty
$9 and minus of
chỗ này là $9 này,
$8
trừ đi
equals
$8
to
bằng
$1.
$1,
Then I will
thì tôi sẽ
discipline you.
tôi sẽ kỷ luật
Are
anh
we
chị
clear?
chẳng hạn. Chỗ này mình rõ chưa?
This is the
Thế thì
KPI
đây
foundation.
là nền tảng của KPI.
So we must understand that
Chúng ta phải hiểu là
the framework become the key.
cái khung
Okay.
này sẽ
So the
là chìa
forecast
khóa.
profit. How do
Thế
you
thì cái
actually
dự báo lợi nhuận,
forecast the
thế
profit?
thì làm thế nào chúng ta có
This is
thể dự đoán
where
được lợi nhuận này? Thế thì đây
the P equals to
Chỗ này là P này, lợi nhuận
product
này. Lợi nhuận chính là bằng P product
multiply
sản phẩm
market
này,
comes in.
nhân với cả market thị trường đúng không?
Okay, sorry, let me draw it, make it nicer. Okay.
Tôi sẽ vẽ lại cái đẹp hơn một chút.
Oh, sorry. Yep. Oh, okay. It's okay. It's okay. No problem. So this is where we are talking about profit. So let's say, for example, the profit we want to make that day, well, we said we want to make, let's say US dollar 300,000. Let's say, for example.
300.000 đô chẳng hạn.
Okay. And we have the product.
Chúng ta
Okay.
có sản phẩm.
What we call A, B, C,
B,
okay,
C,
D,
D,
E, okay. Then we multiply, how many to get,
nhân với bao
right?
nhiêu.
So of what we call, I think what you understand what I'm trying to say, okay? How many person on how much the A is. For example, let's say you make $50. Okay, this one you make, let's say $100. This product you make, let's say $200. This product you say you make $500. Let's say this product you make, let's say $300. Okay, multiply by how many people, okay, in a year. Okay, that will get you this amount. Okay, so basically we are talking about the budget forecast for let me draw it nicely, yeah. For this. Are we clear? Okay, let me draw it nicely. Okay. How many of you are more clearer now? All right. Type 555. Okay. Yes. Yeah. So how many of you are much more clearer now? So the key is the forecast. We need the forecast to actually reward or discipline. If you do not have a forecast, you cannot reward nor discipline. So a lot of people, when they reward their when they reward their employee, what they do? They feel like rewarding, they reward. They don't feel like rewarding, they do not reward. How many of you agree what I said? If you agree, type 999, please. How many of you agree what I said? If you agree, please type 999. All right. If you agree, please type 999. This is the problem with many business owners, including myself those days, right? Including myself. Because when I don't know this, I don't know my problem. So, but when I know this, I say, shit, I should have forecast. All right. So means to say, who is doing the forecast for you? The team together must do forecast. Because if the team do not do forecast, they have no accountability. How many of you agree what I said? Because the core team must agree on a forecast so that everybody will work on it. And if you achieve more, I reward. If you achieve less, I discipline you. So understanding the forecast is very important. So the key is like this, okay? So this is my final framework for you to understand how to understand forecast, Okay, so in order for us to understand forecast, then we need to understand this. All right, means to say we need to understand. Let me go through that whiteboard again. Okay. Let me go whiteboard. Okay. So in order for us to understand the forecast, then we need to understand the cash flow, or we call it, or we call it P&L, profit and loss. Okay, what is profit and loss? So then we need to understand this. Okay, so basically we are talking about. Let me draw first, then you understand better. Okay, we have to understand revenue. That is where the P multiply M is, correct? Okay. Then you need to actually minus off cost of good sold, or COGS, cost of goods sold. Agree? Okay. So then cost of goods sold, what is including cost of goods sold? Basically, you are talking about the direct cost. What do you mean by direct cost? For example, I'm selling this. Okay, the direct cost is actually how much is manufactured, how much is this plastic, okay, how much is this thing. So all this is what we call the direct cost. Okay, and then we need to actually minus off the what we call the salary for the sales, including their what we call commission, their bonus. All that is direct to the what we call product cost of goods sold. All right, this is where in English, in plain English, we call this variable costs. Are we clear? So it is called variable costs. Okay. So then once we do that, then you will actually have what we call gross profit. Okay, so we call this GP. Okay, so when we have gross profit, then we need to actually get what we call the fixed cost. Okay, what is including the fixed cost? The fixed cost, we have what we call the overhead. In the overhead, we have things like rental, utility. Okay, now I don't need to teach you too much. Okay, I just want you to understand, because then you can ask GPT about this. Because the thing is, I'm teaching all first principle. Okay, interest and also salary. Now, this salary is not direct to the sales. This salary is direct to the operation, production, all that. That is what we call the passive one. Okay, and what do you call this? These are all called fixed costs. Okay. Now, of course, I'm actually oversimplifying it, but you can actually ask Google. I mean, GPT is much more easier, but I just want to let you know first. Okay, fixed costs. That these are the framework. Okay, So means to say, this revenue will be lesser and lesser and lesser, lesser and lesser and lesser to actually get this thing called profit. Of course, I'm oversimplifying this just to actually make it easier to understand. Okay. Now, what I want to bring to our attention is this. This one is the attention that I want to bring. Okay. This part and this part. You have two type of people. Okay. People who actually take money from the market and people who are supporting the people who are taking money from the market. There are two type of people. You must understand that framework. Okay. So basically, in a way, this is what we call the negative people. This is what we call the positive people. Okay. I don't mean negative as in a very negative way. They are playing supporting roles. Supporting roles. So they are fixed costs. You understand what I'm saying? So basically, let's say, for example, fixed costs. So we have all the departments. All right. So we have 10 departments. Okay. So based on that 10 department, how much is the total fixed cost? We need to create weightage. Okay. Now, what do you mean by weightage? Okay. So this is the key. Now I want you to understand. Okay. Okay. So then you can compare, then you can understand the framework. Because if you don't understand, it's very difficult for you to prompt in the future. Okay. So to let us understand this, then let me draw this, then you will understand better. Yeah, because you already know. I just want to actually make it more clearer to you. Okay, so you have what? You have marketing, you have sales, you have management, you have operation, you have finance, you have accounting, you have HR, you have customer service, you have what we call uh, R&D. Then you have what we call production. Okay. Now, when we say that, then what is the green part? Okay, my company green part is this one, all right, and this one, for example. Okay, or sometimes can be also this one. It all depends. Again, I say it all depends. Yeah. So if these are the three that is making money, then these are the one that is wastages. Okay, so this is the waste. So now, what I want you to understand is, we call this thing called, so this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one. We need to actually we can place what? Weightage on these people's salary. Weightage means to say, okay, if that is the case, then from today onward, I know that this marketing, I will put 10% of the total cost. Management, 20% of the total cost. Okay. Operation will get 30% of the total cost. 10% of the total cost. HR, 5%, for example, of the total cost. R&D, 5% of the total cost. Now, how much is it? So 10, 20, 30, 30, 30, 60, 70, 80, production 20% of the total cost. Okay, so for example, so then we are talking about weightage on 100% on the cost. Okay, that is what we call the fixed salary. Okay, Are we clear? Okay, how many of you are much more clearer now on this framework? Please type 555. Okay, so means to say that this is actually 100% of the salary. So basically, it's actually using this to do a weightage. Are we clear now? Okay, so then you can divide it in all the departments that it will not run. You understand? Because then you have the profit making group people and the cost making people. You understand? All right. So then it becomes very clear on you when you want to actually set KPI to actually either do the setting. Okay. How many of you feel that this is very, very useful to you? How many of you feel that this is very extremely useful to you? Type 888, please. All right. Type 88. Type 888. Okay. I give you an example. Yeah. I give you an example. Let's say you make 300,000 here. Okay. I give you example 300,000 here. Okay. Now let's say here is 200,000. Okay. That is overhead. Okay, of course, 200,000. So the 200,000 of, okay, so let me don't do it here. Okay, let's say here is 300,000. Okay, and then here is actually 200,000. Okay, on the salary. Are we clear? So this is the part, 200,000. So based on 200,000, then marketing is how much? 20,000 US dollar. Management is how much? 40,000 US dollar. Operation is how much? 60,000 US dollar. Accounting is how much? 20,000 US dollar. HR is how much? 10,000 US dollar. R&D is how much? 10,000 US dollar. Production is how much? 20,000 US dollar. 40,000 US dollar. Are we clearer now? Type 666 if you are. Okay. So means to say then you create the weightage to everybody. So everybody will hold some cost to it. Are we clear? Okay, if you are clear, please type 555. I just want to make sure that all of us are clear. Because the sales, the salary is very direct. But the people who are the costs in the company, the salary is not direct. So what we can do is we can actually set the forecast of the accounts. And then once we set the forecast, how much the salary can be paid based on the profit that we can generate, then we can create weightage. And then we will then divide it into all the departments and we can put it all into the departments. How many of you understand? Please type 555 if you understand. How many of you don't understand? Type 444. There's no reply from you guys. Okay. Yeah. Okay, now let's do this. Okay. This is profit and loss. Okay, this is profit. Okay, this is profit. This is profit, 300,000. Okay. This is the salary here, 300,000. This is the salary. So this salary all add up to 200,000. Okay. So this salary is add up to 200,000. So this is 100%. So this salary, 200,000, is divided into the marketing. So the marketing will take 10% of the 200,000. Then the management will take 20% of the 200,000 as a cost. The operation will take 30% of the 200,000 as the cost. And then the accounting will take 10% of the 200,000 as the cost for salary. Then the HR will take 5% of the salary. The R&D will take 5%. And the production will take 20% of the 200,000. Are we clear to understand now? Type 555 if you are clear. So means to say the salary of this is actually fixed. Okay, this is fixed. This is fixed salary. Understand? But the fixed salary is to support what? To support the sales salary. Do you understand now? Okay. So this where when the fixed salary is concerned, we do not know how much. Therefore, we need to actually look at the salary here, and then we get the amount here, and then we provide weightage for all this. Understand? Okay, very good. Thank you so much. Okay, thank you so much for asking. Okay, so this is what we call the framework of the whole thing. All right. So it's very important for us to understand this, because the fixed salary, because it's everyone is sharing the salary. So let's say the salary is 200,000, then 10% of the 200,000, 30% of the 200,000, 30% of 200,000, 10% of the 200,000, 5% of the 200,000, 5% of the 200,000, 20% of the 200,000, all are what we call related. All right. So basically, this is how this whole framework is. Okay. So how many of you now are much more? How many of you now answer some of the question which cannot be answered? Because last time when I don't understand the KPI, I just don't understand how the operation cost will be divided. And I don't understand the auntie who is sweeping the floor will be divided. So because it's not clear for me, and I don't know how to calculate the ROI. How many of you now this is very helpful for you to understand now? It's much more clearer for you to understand now. Type 777, please. If it is very helpful for you to understand. Type 777. Okay. So basically, whatever things that I want you all to remember is, okay, the first just now on the morning session is called what we call cash flow. Mutual benefit. Mutual benefit. Okay, that is the first word. So let's type mutual benefit. Let's everyone type mutual benefit in the comment box. Okay. Now, the second word before lunch, I want you all to remember is forecast budget. Because if you don't have a forecast budget, cannot do KPI. Type forecast budget. Okay. So forecast budget is the P&L. How much you can spend. So all that previously you need accountant to do, but today you don't need. Who can you ask help? Who can you ask help? The AI. The AI will do that for us now. Are we clear? So this is where the forecast become much more easier. Those days you need big corporation to actually do the forecast. You need a lot of people to actually help you to do the forecast. But today is different because P&L with AI support. Exactly. Thank you so much. You understand what I'm saying? So basically, before the business even start, you need to understand what are the products that you sell. You need to list down. All right. How many people will you be selling to? All right. How many times they will come in a year? How much more they will buy in a year? And how do they refer in a year? All right. So these are all things that you already learned in what? PCI. Remember? Once you are able to do all that, you need a forecast budget. Okay. So first, you must understand think mutual benefit. Second, think forecast budget. Forecast budget, once you understand, you must remember this, okay? Based on the forecast budget, if the profit go up, you reward. If the profit go down, you discipline. Now, if the cost go down, you reward. If the cost go up, you discipline. Everything must have a forecast budget. So before you start any business, guys, girls, forecast budget. Now, how many of you start business never think about forecast budget before? Type 222. Me too. How many of you start a business, never do forecast budget? Type 222. Please be honest. Type 222. Okay, please be honest. Type 222, including me. I also type 222. Okay, so I as a teacher, I also need to actually admit, when I do business, I never do forecast budget. Okay, you cannot not do forecast budget, because if you don't do forecast budget, there is no foundation for you to set KPI. Are we clear? If there's no forecast budget, there's no foundation for you to set KPI. Are we all agreeing on this? If you agree, type 888. Okay. So people who actually set KPI, give commission and whatnot without a forecast budget is like the blind leading blind. At the end, you running a company, you will be at the losing end. Okay, how many of you learned something very valuable today? Type 999. I hope this session is something that you will appreciate, because I think all of you are very, very smart people, and I've connected with all of you, some of you, and I know that you understand. So the key foundation is for me to set the right foundation for you to prompt AI. So once you get the right foundation, you prompt AI, then you will get the answer that you want. All right. So with that, thank you very much. I hope you enjoy this morning session. So we'll continue on the afternoon session. In the afternoon session, then we'll go into the KPI specifically. So how to actually draw the whole KPI system. Okay. So because the important part I already transferred and share with you. The next one is actually how to draw the whole KPI one by one. Okay. So we'll take a 1 hour, 15-minute break. So just not right now, just nice to what we call 12:15. So we'll come back at 1:30. All right. So having said that, please, if you are free, try to actually set what we call the prompt AI on your P&L.